we saw earlier. Create out of the create. Okay, so you want to start with Substance Painter. This is paid software, but they do give a 30-day free trial. I'm going to move my microphone closer. So they give you a 30-day free trial, but it's also accessible for students for a year if you show them if you send off an image of your student ID card. It's all above board. It's really good. I would definitely avail of this for your 3D environment experience. So the first thing you want to do in Substance Painter is click File, click New, and then select the file that you want to pick. In our instance, we wanted to use this crate and create textures out of that. Keep all this information the same and click OK. Ignore that. Great. Okay, so the interface is different to Blender, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this line in the middle, left click, drag it to the right so we have space, and also grab this bar and drag it down a little bit. So the controls are as follows. We can scroll in or out to give us more view. We can hold Alt and left click to rotate. Alt and left click rotate around objects. We can also click while holding Alt, hold the middle mouse button and pan up. So yeah, that's how you move around your object. That's the controls. It's a little different at first, but you'll get over it quite quickly. Okay, so drag this bar up. Let's look at the shelf. We're going to click on Smart Materials, and Substance Painter gives us all these cool materials that we're able to generate textures onto our 3D object quite quickly. So, but before we do that, over here on the right, there's a Layers and Texture Set Settings, and we're going to click Mesh Maps, Bake Mesh Maps. By the way, in Texture Set List, you'll see Crate. If there's two materials, you might have to figure out which one you're using by turning them on and off. But the one I'm using, and I'm just using one, is Crate. So in Texture Set Settings, I want you to click Bake Mesh Maps, change it to the output size of the pixel size that you were using. Ours was 2048. And then click Bake Create Mesh Maps. Now, what Substance Painter is doing here is it's generating all this data that's going to be used for these substance materials, so they'll look really nice when you place them onto the model. So I don't know how long it'll take for you, but that wasn't too long. So we have our model. Now we're going to click on Layers, and we're going to drag this material, Steel Painted Scrape Dirty, onto the layer, and it will affect the entire object. Now we might not want it to affect the entire object. So we're going in our Layers panel, we're going to right click on the Smart Material and click Add Black Mask. And so you're going to see it's gone now. But what we can do is we're going to go here in the left panel and click Polygon Fill. We have Polygon Fill selected. On the right, we're able to choose Polygon Fill or Mesh Fill. So we're gonna keep Polygon Fill. We're gonna press F6. F6 makes everything orthographic, and you can scroll in. F5 gives it kind of an angle, but F6 we can drag up, and we're gonna drag the bar, left click, and select everything on the top of this crate or whatever you want. And so we have just the top of the crate selected. And we've noticed we have this handle that's also painted, and we got it on both sides. And you're like, no, I don't want to texture that handle. I want to keep that something else. So in the properties down here, we're able to drag down the color, and we're able to go to Object Mesh Fill, and we're going to click that. We're going to click the other one, so they aren't textured anymore. And then we're going to drag that back up just so we don't forget about it. Okay, so we have the top of this textured, but maybe we don't want it orange. Maybe we want it blue. So we're going to open up the folder. We're going to scroll down to Paint. We're going to go to Base Color, click that, and then drag it to a blue. Let's drag it to a blue. Let's have it this kind of dark. You can do whatever you want. I'm just using blue right now. And we're going to close that folder. Now we're like, okay, now to texture the rest of this. So we're going to click Steel Painted again, drag it below, and yeah, let's keep it. Maybe let's make it go down to the paint again. Open up the folder, go down to Paint, left click, and maybe let's make it a little more red. Maybe not. Yeah, it's probably fine like that. It's probably fine like that. But as per the last time, we're going to right click and click Add a Black Mask, and we're going to select the object that we want. So we're just going to left click on the bottom half of this object. So we're almost done. So we have the main two bits, the top bit, the lid, and the bottom. But we want to get all these little bits around the side, which would probably be darker color. So we're going to create one more Smart Material, and we're going to open it up, and we're going to go down to the Paint, and we're going to change it to a darker color. Okay. And then the proper way to do this is right click, go to black mask, go to object, and start selecting all the objects that we want to be this material. Get all the little bits. It's quite quick. Okay, I think that looks okay. That looks pretty good. That's a basic crate. You know, you can imagine that in some type of sci-fi Blade Runner-esque society. You know, looking all worn and rustic, but you know, it's not. It doesn't have any insignia or, you know, attitude to it. Not that I'm about to add much attitude, but anyway, let's click at the top layer and create a fill layer, and maybe let's make that like a warning yellow color, because yellow is like a warning color, dragged down a little bit. So it's kind of a light yellow, but not everything. So we're going to right click again. We're going to click add black mask. And right here on the left, we're going to use a tool that's very familiar to you if you've used Photoshop, Paint. And we can draw high, but we're not actually going to do that. So we're going to Control Z a few times and not right high. And we're going to go down to the alphas. Now, we were at Smart Materials. We're going to go to alphas. Now, alphas are essentially just white images on a black background, and it'll know what you're doing, and it will paint the insignia. I've made some. You can buy them online, and Substance Painter provides a whole lot of ones for you. So we're going to actually type in sign. You know, we're going to look for a sign. We're going to say caution, because this is like possibly a dangerous box. Maybe there's, I don't know, mice in it. So we're going to say caution there. We're going to just left click. If you want to increase the size, you can hold Control and right click to edit the size, and then Control and left click if you want to, you know, edit the angle. And so we're going to bring that around again, and we're going to go down to the back, and we're going to add caution there. So it's a dangerous box. What else can we add? We can add a biohazard symbol, because we're edgy. We're edgy people. Add biohazard there, and a bit of biohazard there. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But you're probably noticing, like, hey, why is the paint coming off that, but this is unscathed? Well, we're going to fix that. So we're going to click the eraser tool on the left, and we're going to type in scratches. Okay, yeah, that's a scratch. Sure, any of them will do. We're going to hold Control and right click to increase the size of the scratch. We're just going to left click a few times, make it, we're going to go around, left click, you know, dirtying up the sides of this caution stuff, you know. Maybe we want to get in and really rub off the corners. It's up to you how damaged you want to make this, but you know, the less you think about it, the better it tends to look. But at the end of the day, this is our crate. Okay, so now you're like, okay, that looks cool, but how do I get the textures from that? So you click File, you click Export Textures, and there is a configuration set up specifically for you. If you scroll down, you can click Unity 5 Standard Metallic. That's the one you want. Keep that information the same. At the top there, change the path to where you want it to go. I'm going desktop. That's just video tutorials, Substance Painter tutorial, and I'll just put the textures there, and it's as simple as clicking export, and it will give you, it'll give you all these textures that you want. So it'll give you your albedo texture. See, it's all laid out, and it'll know where to put them in Unity. You create a material, you add these three textures to it, and it'll look like this. Pretty much. Anyway, so that is the basics, the fundamentals, I think, of Substance Painter and Blender. Thank you for sticking with me this long.